Hey all, welcome to my stream. I have decided to keep streaming more and I'm trying to talk more while I'm streaming. It's sometimes a little tricky to talk while you're streaming, especially when you're still practicing how to stream online and you haven't gathered viewers yet. But I realize that most people that are successful at streaming are very good at talking to themselves. So I'm using this as an opportunity to just express myself, and with time, when people are watching, I'll know exactly what I say with time. Now over here we have there's this style of drawing called art therapy, where you just draw whatever comes to your mind. It could be something detailed, it could be something abstract, and this style of drawing is actually a very big and important basis of drawing. They always tell you that it's very important in drawing to follow certain rules about how to make the drawing, but even though that is correct and that is needed, another part of drawing is being able to draw without following any rules at all, which is just let the pen flow and whatever happens happens. And then with time you learn how to mix both together, how to mix mindful drawing with random strokes, and they become one thing. The thing is that when you make random strokes and you don't think about them, it comes straight from the subconscious mind. So that makes it that you're actually healing yourself or discovering things about yourself. And not all people will be able to translate what they're drawing at first, and sometimes you just make a random drawing and you feel better and you don't know why. And the more you do that, the more you open a gate to your subconscious mind and you start understanding yourself, even without, not necessarily with any specific guidance. So what I'm going to do now is a little bit of random art therapy. Sometimes I like to draw a specific image, but this time I'm just gonna paint and see what happens. So in case anyone watches this later, here we go. I got this random feeling that I want to choose purple. I have no idea why, just go for it. And I choose this large brush size and I start making these random strokes. And just feel the music, just let it flow. I'm using a lower opacity because I'm using a blending brush. So when I lower the opacity, it allows the color to blend with the already existing color. I modify this brush myself. It's a custom brush. It doesn't come by default with the program. Just going around the color wheel, whatever I feel, I just click it and go. If it doesn't make sense after I start making the strokes, I just try another color that I feel and see if it makes sense. Like, I just keep using the color until it stops making sense. And by sense, I don't mean logically. I mean like you have this gut feeling telling you, change colors, do a different stroke, do a different shape, like something is guiding you. And you're not thinking that you suck or you're good. In that part of your mind, you have to turn it off. You're not evaluating yourself while you're drawing. You're not comparing yourself with anyone, because anything you do is good. And this is a very important part of learning how to really draw. Like, if you are capable of making these random strokes without thinking at any time, you'll never have an art block. An art block is those moments when you think that you can't draw. But this removes the concept that you can't draw, because if you know that anything that comes from your subconscious at any time is good, then you'll always be able to draw. It will be different styles, but you'll always be able to draw. You won't need a specific mood to start drawing. This is coming a bit of a rainbow shade, but a pastel rainbow shade. I like where this is going. It's been a while since I made this combination of colors in art therapy. And hopefully this video isn't completely muted by the time I'm done. Many parts of it might, because I'm taking a risk to play Spotify music instead of very specific copyright-free music. Now I'm gonna start. I got this random feeling that I want to blend the lines. I have a blender tool here that mixes all the colors together. I didn't feel like leaving everything sharp, so just giving it a, like, smoothing out all the rough details. There we go. Everything you're seeing so far is completely spontaneous. I'm not thinking twice making any of this. I do have some background in drawing, so some of it comes from it, but you don't need to. As you can see, I'm not trying to do a specific shape, I'm just following how I feel. You can keep refining it as you go. As long as you feel that you're not done, then you're not done. Just keep coloring. And you could consider it done and just move on to the next piece of art therapy if that's how you feel. Or you could just stay and keep adding more. It's almost as if you're meditating on the image that you already partially finished. And that meditation process is just adding more and more to the image. A little bit more blending. More blending in this area. This in its own is a kind of art therapy. This is just like, I interpret this as a summary of my emotions. It's like sometimes this is the first image that comes to me when I start art therapy. It's like saying, like, you're currently feeling a mix of emotions and they're all flowing together in the same direction, and you don't need to worry, even though you're worried. What you're feeling is a mix of everything. And then sometimes when I go into the next image, it starts going into the details, but that's the process of how my subconscious works. It's not necessarily the same exact thing for everyone. Anyhow, I'm gonna move on to the next layer now. I'm gonna start a new image and see what happens. I thought I'd want to make something more detailed, but I'm still feeling like I want to make color swatches again. I'm still in the same mood, so let's see where it goes. Now a completely different style is coming out on its own. While the other one had a sense of flow, suddenly now my emotions or my subconscious is guiding me to make more angular strokes. And I'm just going with it. A color that wasn't there before started showing up, and that also means something. Like it's showing like a set of emotions in relation to that other emotion that just showed up now. If we're gonna compare with this, it went in a completely different direction. Like this was like the image that comforts you that everything is gonna be fine, and then suddenly we go into the details. Like there is a little bit of conflict, still harmonious in a way, but more edgy. Like there's this red emotion, like maybe it's passion, maybe it's anger, maybe it's love that's conflicting with a blue emotion. They're trying to get along, but it's not going as smoothly as it could be for now. So now I'm getting a random feeling to do a yellow center. This yellow part could mean anything. It could say that in the middle of all of it there's a core. The nature of the core emotion I'm not really sure, but it's like hey, you may have noticed the conflict between the red part and the blue part, but there's also a yellow part in the middle of all of it. And that yellow part extends to the rest of the image. Like it's trying to say it's all part of the process. Like maybe it means that even though there's a conflict between that red part and the blue part, or maybe even if everything is edgy, that there's still some sort of light that exists at the core of it all and all around it. So that like maybe we should accept sometimes that this process happens. It doesn't mean anything bad, and even if it does mean something that may be temporarily out of balance, that the light will eventually encompass it all and fix it all. And I got some random feelings to add more colors. Yep, and it stops there. I personally have been going through some difficult emotions, and it's like as if this drawing is speaking to me. It's like in this area are the conflict of the difficult emotions. Like, don't worry that this area exists, because in the end it's still part of this big picture. And this is how your subconscious speaks to you. Like that's why it's good to just make random strokes, and whatever happens happens. So this is what we have so far. We have this first image that came, which is a summary. It's saying that don't worry, all your emotions are flowing and everything is going to be fine. And then this other random image that came from me that shows a possible conflict and how everything could be better, and why the conflict doesn't mean anything bad. So now that this is out of the way, I'm gonna try a third image and just I'm gonna make random swatches of the flow and see how it goes. Now I'm getting this random urge to use greens, like a turquoise green. In case there's anyone new that just entered, I'm doing something called art therapy, which is when you just let your subconscious do the coloring for you and just do random lines, and sometimes it tells you something about yourself without having to overthink it. I guess this time it's focusing on the emotion that is more represented by the blue color. And just coming straight from my subconscious mind without thinking. And this, again, this is what we went through so far. I feel like this is the summary. This is a possible conflict and a solution. And now this is another emotion. Just I'm doing random colors and just forms an image that says something about how I feel. I'm guessing, I could be wrong, but I'm guessing that this image is speaking about a specific emotion that I identify using the blue color, that it's flowing nicely, and it's not the emotion that's causing me conflict, or maybe things got better because I drew the first two images. Now I'm gonna try one more and see what naturally comes. I feel a random green. I'm guessing that's another emotion too. Usually in my case, from my experience, that usually the green color is like I call it earth. It's like the part that represents stability, and it seems when it comes to a certain kind of emotional stability, everything seems to be fine. It's like so far the conflict came from the red color. It's like I have some kind of anger that showed up in the second image that I sometimes perceive as something that causes lack of harmony, while in reality there's something positive in the middle of that red. So I guess maybe it means that like my subconscious is trying to tell me that everything is going to be fine, but it's showing me each individual emotion and what state it's in and whether or not that's a good or a bad thing. And so far it seems to be telling me one fixed message so far: everything is going to be fine. And seeing that visually helps you feel like maybe life is not as bad as I imagine it to be. Like if these colors exist in me, then maybe I'm okay. And even if they were darker colors, they still don't mean anything bad to me. Start getting that feeling of doing the blues and the reds again. It still has a slight edge to it, but there's a slight change. Now I'm gonna see what comes up. I feel what's coming up so far is like it showed a similar edginess to the second image, but at the same time it's like it started to reach this middle ground between edgy parts and smooth parts. Like saying the edgy is not a bad thing, it just needs to harmonize with the rest of the personality, as it showed that there are several emotions that I'm feeling right now that is taking a smoother flow. So the edgy feeling felt out of place and thought it's like something conflicting with the rest of the personality. But when it saw that there is light coming out from the edgier part, which as you can see mixes with the rest of the image, that they like all the emotions need to be friends. Like it doesn't mean that one feeling is feeling out of place and that there's some kind of crisis. Sometimes we make up the crisis. Sometimes there is a crisis, and sometimes this helps to solve that crisis. And there are other times when the crisis is a what if scenario. What if there's a crisis because I'm feeling something, and it turns out that the feeling is completely natural. And like this is the final result in the end, I feel. And it's not bad. The colors could blend better, but it's going somewhere good. I think this concludes this tutorial for now. I hope parts of it do not get censored on Twitch, because even though there weren't many viewers, I'd love this to be some sort of inspiration for anyone who wishes to know how to do this. Thank you all for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.